think that Taj Mahal is in need the lead either. So I mean, Taj
Okay.
Mahal having the rail can realistically like sit behind those first, those
The
other
first,
runners that
yeah.
try to clear from the outside
Okay.
and then just save ground.
Interesting. That would not, I mean, I'm going to go back and look at his, I thought he was just like a go kind of horse, but you don't think he needs the lead?
Um,
Taj
Taj
Mahal?
Mahal.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about him when we do the trips.
Okay.
Um, but I don't think so because even in a couple of those races he got off slow. And I think they're kind of cases too. And I mean he won from off the pace breaking his maiden. I know it's
Yeah.
6 furlongs, but at least in that instance he showed that he's not like, oh, if horses get in front of me, I'm not going to go by them. If that makes sense. And
Yeah.
I think in the other races at Laurel where he wheeled back in 2 weeks for that second start
Yeah.
over a muddy track,
Yep.
they're like, we're just go. You're stretching out for the first time in 2 weeks, like avoid dirt in your face, etc. And then we watched the Tesio live coming off the layup on April 18th. They just like gunned it.
Yeah.
Remember, they just like sprinted clear from the field. And even at that same point, like we were watching live, we're like, oh, he's getting tired. He's going to back up, and he found another gear. I don't know how like solid that field was, but I think that was kind of one of those instances too, where they're like, we just have the best horse. Let's just go.
Okay.
Given that scenario, like we're coming in fresh, we need some fitness.
Yeah.
Because then they slowed it down and he had another gear. So I think a lot of it is kind of situational, but I think having that draw in the inside, I mean, they might still send.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't get in their head, but I don't think they're a need the lead type. And especially with Taj Mahal, who does have that tendency to break a little bit slow, that could at least give them options to not try to rush through on the inside.
Interesting.
So
Because yeah, I mean, looking at the way that I was like, he's on the rail, he's got to go. But I think you're right. If he goes and sits behind, because it is still a mile and a 3/16, which before that last race you said was what, a mile and a eighth, probably, as I look. 9, yeah. So
nine
mile, yeah,
furlongs.
mile and an eighth. So just going an extra half furlong. So probably not the biggest of deals, but he did certainly look like he was slowing down. But maybe not. Maybe he was just toying with them. But it certainly felt like going longer wasn't going to be his friend. So it feels like going to the lead and just hoping nobody else is good enough to pass would be sort of the way that I was looking at him anyways. And with the closers we have coming, it feels like probably got one or two that are going to close into him, I would think. But, I guess we find it out.
I mean, that's kind of the other reason that I think if nobody else went for the lead, but they see the same thing as us. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, there's a ton of speed in this race. It's going to fall apart. So I don't think there's
Right.
any reason why they would be like, hey, let's just gun it and get into a speed duel with 6 other horses, especially if you break slow.
Right.
And then try to get first run. I think that's how if Taj Mahal wins, I think that's how they're going to win the race. I don't think they're going to be a best of the speed. Now, my other knock is because I went back and like watched that race, and I went through and like did all the races because, like you said, we did it live. It's like I completely was like, oh, stream over, out of my
Yep.
brain.
Don't need to worry
Like,
about that one ever
yeah,
again.
turn the
Yep.
page. Next. It just looked like a hard effort because they did like kind of prove like we're the best. We don't want to get in trouble. We're just going to win this race. They went clear, looked like they're going to back up into that far turn. Other horses started to make a run, and then Taj Mahal just like kept finding. But I just wonder like what that race takes out of them because they were coming in off a 2-month break, and now it is less than 30 days, and now it is tougher competition. And he's going to have to run a big race and get a trip. And it's not out of the question, but those are things that when you're talking about having the favorite, you just want everything to be perfect and be like, okay, well, maybe if one of those things, right? Maybe even if he still doesn't run back to a top effort, he's still better than these horses. I don't know. it's like, okay, if he doesn't get his ideal trip, if he does get out on the lead and he does get into a speed duel, is he that much better that he's just going to be able to like battle those horses, win the battle and the war?
Yeah.
Right. Fight them early on and then hold off the closers late.